Can't see anything yet. There we go. Okay, there we go. I think we got it this time. I had to scale some stuff back. Hopefully it would work. I'm going to hang on here for just a second before I start moving the computer. I'm in the room where the router is, and it's kind of my gaming room. So I'm going to take a bit of a break for a second. Show you the room real quick. This is my first dollar I earned for doing a comic book, so yay. Kind of stupid. Then my other computer, my laptop, my desktop, and then all my Star Wars stuff. Up top there, I got a bunch of Star Wars Legos because I'm a big nerd. Anyway, let me see. Now that we got a more solid stream, let me see if I can move it. It said I had to download a plugin. Oh, look, by the way, Pastel's my wife. Kind of sideways. Here we go. Kind of a work in progress. It's not even halfway finished. But as I walk back to the house, now that I got the stream working again. Sorry if you guys get motion sick on that, but it took me like all this time just to get the router reset, and it said I needed a plug-in, and I had to close down a bunch of stuff on my computer that I had open just to see if it worked faster. And apparently it worked because now I got a better stream, or YouTube stopped being stupid. One of the two. Welcome back. Something happened. I don't know what. I looked up and I saw a black screen, and I knew I'd lost the streaming video. So I knew something had gone wrong in the broadcast. And now that that's fixed, I was scrambling to get that finished, fixed, and worked. So if you're seeing me now, thank you for sticking with me. Sorry about that. YouTube had a glitch, an unexplainable glitch that we'll never figure out why. It happens. It could be my router, it could be Charter, it could be anything. Anyway, in the meantime, all I did was I darkened down a line or two so I wouldn't waste ink, and then I washed my brush, which I'm going to wash again just to be on the safe side, because I did kind of wash it in a hurry to get the stream back up and running. But I'm going to move on to the next panel. Again, thanks for sticking with this. I'm so sorry. I only shared links to my personal Facebook and Twitter. I didn't resume anything else, and it's like, hopefully you guys will find it to the channel, because I don't want to risk opening up. I had Twitter open the whole time I was on YouTube, so sometimes it backs up my computer. It causes some issues. But anyway, let me go ahead and continue with the next panel, which will be, I want to do this panel, but I don't know, part of me wants to work on the rabbit. I don't know if you've seen the rabbit really up close. Let me kind of rotate it so you can see it better. But that's the rabbit. He's kind of an evil rabbit. And part of me wants to get started on him. And no, I think I'll just get started on Rabbit Jr. up here, the smaller one. Just trying to run out of ink here. Wow, I got lots of little dots here. Got a couple ink spots on the table. Luckily, they're easily removed with a couple of things. Water will usually get them off. Usually they'll scrape off because they just sit on top of this laminate surface of this table. So my wife won't kill me. The other thing is, too, you can't see they're wiping right out. The other thing is, too, is I got this stuff called ink remover. Yeah, the water's taking it right off. I got this stuff that's like an ink remover. It's usually used for brushes, but on small amounts on a rag, it does take up a lot of the spots. Yeah, they're going to have to take that to that, because some of those are a little bit dried on. Thank goodness my niece and nephew kind of ruined the table already with other things. So my wife's not going to go, you ruined a perfectly good table. Like, oh, the kids' markers did that, huh? My niece and nephew. We'll go with that. We'll go with that option. You know, my wife doesn't get too mad at me, so that's good. As much art crap as I've left laying around the house, I'm surprised she's not more mad at me. But, you know, thank God for that. She's understanding and very supportive of my art. Oops, went a little bit past the line there. Oops. Well, I'll Photoshop it out. Some artists leave those things in there. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of intentionally messy lines, but sometimes artists will leave them in there. One of my favorite artists right now has been Marcio Takara, who's doing this run now of, what is it? Not Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, which has been a really big title just in general. So that's like, oh, hey, let's take one of the most watched comic series right now. And here, Mr. Artist, you can draw it now too. So he went from being he did a run of comics for the Incredibles, based on the Pixar movie, And then he did some other comic books, a couple pages for like The Flash, and he just got off a whole huge run on Smallville. And then they were like, hey, you can come do Captain Marvel. And he was like, oh, gee. And the funniest part is he said he had a big project just before Heroes Con. I'm like, wonder what it could be. Well, the thing is, Heroes Con always has a big, big panel relating to the Captain Marvel series. They always have the author come in, and usually the artists come in. So he was like, oh, yeah, big project. I'm going to announce. And it's like, he announced it like the day before the convention started. I was like, oh, my gosh, that means you're going to be on all the panels, because panels at Heroes Con focus quite a bit on Captain Marvel. So he's like, yeah, that's kind of what I was keeping under my hat for a while, which I thought was pretty funny that here he is going to be, you know, front and center at the convention, so to speak, because they have all these panels relating to Captain Marvel, and now he's going to be the artist for Captain Marvel for a couple issues. And he's been sharing some amazing art from that. The thing I like about Marcio Takara is he does a lot of things about line weight. Like, he doesn't really do a lot of dark blacks. See, I like Yannick Paquette. I met him at Heroes Con this year. He does a lot of blacks, like a lot of black. Like, it's like patterns of black with his stuff. And then with Marcio Takara, it's the exact opposite. It's black, but it's patterns of lines of black, not shapes of black. So for him, it's all about the line thickness than it is particularly any kind of like specific lines. By the way, if we ever lose connection, YouTube is a butt and Chart is a butt. So just follow the White Rabbit back to my channel, youtube.com/newfreshreview. There will probably be a link on there describing, oh, this is where the new live event is going to be. I don't even have to do it. YouTube will just say, oh, here's a live event. I think you have to go into my channel and go through live events. The fact I have a viewer still, thank you. I don't know how I managed that, but you were already in the room before I started the broadcast. So whatever you did something right. And I applaud you for that. So I have no idea how half of this stuff works sometimes. Because I've had people, I literally have had people telling me, oh, I watched it. Oh, I watched it. Oh, I watched it. You watched it live? Yup. I see one viewer watching me now. That's what I see. And again, I'm not trying to be, you know, wrapped up in numbers, because that tripped me up this week. But I've had two separate people today tell me they were watching me live, and I've only ever seen one viewer at one time. So you're probably watching me, and if I say there's only one of you watching, it's probably because that's all I see. And I don't really care that it's not like a large number or anything like that. But my whole point of the story was, if you're watching me, I may not be aware of it, so thank you. Because like I said, I know there's at least two people that messaged me saying, I'm watching, and I'm seeing one. So if I see one, and I know two people have told me, and they're not liars, but neither one of these people are liars. So YouTube doesn't show me everything. So YouTube is a mystery to me. Google Hangouts is a mystery to me. What I do is I set up the camera, I put in the text box what I want to do, and I hit play. That's as much as I do. What happens after that point is a mystery to me. So how you're able to stick with it is whatever you did the right thing, obviously. How it worked, I don't know. But more power to you. That's all I can say, more power to you. One of these videos I did, I literally had like 4 or 5 people tell me they were watching me, and most I saw was 3. And I know there was at least 4 people simultaneously watching me. So YouTube, I don't know if YouTube only shows me YouTube, Google registered people that are logged into their Google, or what. And there is a box for messaging me. I don't know how it works. Sorry, I'm just seeing like my big old chin in there. Actually, it's missing now. I wonder if I widen it out, will it show me again? I never text through that anyway, because I figure I can talk to you guys. Yeah, it doesn't show it. I must have closed it. And nobody ever texts me on it anyway. They usually just text me through how they know me, and that's totally fine, because I don't know how YouTube does this stuff. So again, let's not risk the live stream mistake where it could have like things that you're telling me that I'm not aware of. Somebody sent me something funny on Twitter. Who the person will remain nameless. Not because I don't want to mention it, it's just because I don't want him to call him out. That brought a smile to my day. And I think that maybe what slowed my computer down was having Twitter open, because sometimes Twitter does like a million different things. I follow about 160 different people and institutions. So sometimes it'll be like, oh, this person updated, this person updated. And some people comment like crazy, and others don't even comment at all. So sometimes the people that comment like crazy are the ones that slow my computer down. Updated, updated, conversated, updated, updated. It's like, whoa, slow down, buddy. And some cracks here. All right. Continuing on with the rabbit here. Now the good thing is, if I'm a little wobbly with these lines of this rabbit ear, it's not going to really matter because, hey, it's furry. In fact, I'm intentionally making it a little wobbly. And it looks super awesome when you do that. One thing I don't mind doing, but I don't mind doing it, but it's kind of not very fun, is like hard metal surfaces and stuff. Like mechanical things. I do a lot of that for Trixie Dynamite, the comic book I ink for Sacramento's ECD Press. I do a lot of like stuff like that. And it gets kind of boring after a while because you have to kind of be really careful. If you're drawing like a space-age space station, it should kind of look even and smooth and everything. And you just break out the ruler, you hold your breath, and you draw straight. It does get kind of boring after a while. Whereas you get something like this where you got all these textures, you got a furry rabbit. And no one's going to question, oh, if the line's a little bit off, oh my gosh, your line's a little crooked. You can be like, that's just fur, okay? And then you can leave it like that. And then the person that says that probably feels pretty stupid, even though you just made it up, but I'm kidding about that, but no. But I mean, like stuff like that. I mean, I can make a little bit of white, jagged, oops, I'm not even showing you the rabbit there, but see, you can make a little bit of jagged lines on his ears, and who cares because it's his fur. It's supposed to be a little shaggy. So that part's fun, where you can not worry about, oh, gee whiz, is everything exactly what it should be. Gives you the chance to be a little bit more artistic. Oh, I love how I did that eye. I'm not trying to brag, but I made the under part of the eye just slightly thicker than the top part. It gives you a nice little shading and sets the eye in nice in the socket. Oh, I love it when it works. Oh, boy. Okay, now I'm going to go on to, because this stuff is all going to be pen work, the rest of it pretty much. Although I might do like a line right here for the crease of his jacket. Oh, that looks nice. That was a good plan. And the rest of it I think I'll do with the coloring. Now on to Allison over the shoulder. Not super pleased with how this panel turned out, but I might be nitpicking quite a bit. I do nitpick my own art like crazy. Drawing in Allison's eyes as she looks over her shoulder, kind of. Sorry, I make noises. I do the Bob Ross noises. I grew up watching Bob Ross and just watch how much fun he had doing the drawing of his drawings. Wow, his paintings and stuff. It just, made me want to do more stuff too. And one thing he used to do a lot was like make those little noises when you paint. And I guess I kind of still do that sort of thing, where I make noises while I paint and draw. Kind of makes you help you think about the motion that you're supposed to be doing. Because I think sometimes people struggle about, I can't trace a straight line. Well, that's why you got a ruler for. I don't think anybody doesn't do a straight line with a ruler. A few people have told me that you never ink a building with a ruler because it makes it stand out more when you ink it with a ruler. It makes everything else look fake. And I guess it depends on the mood of the book. If you're doing something like Batman, it's a little bit more grittier. I would imagine that you'd probably want to not use a ruler for that, just so it can be a little bit more of a rough-edged building. And I'm not really good at inking buildings. I don't think. Probably because I do tend to use a ruler. I think it helps to have a ruler as a guide for the pencil, but as the inking, I think you might want to just use like I might ink the very, very edge with a ruler and then worry about the rest of it with a brush. So much more interesting with a brush. Anyway, you get much more varied line weight and stuff. Man, you can't even tell that that line went over. I'm not even worried about it. The boring stuff to me is the ruler stuff, because that's the stuff where if it's a little crooked, it looks like garbage, and you're like, ah. But with the stuff with the brush is the most fun part, because that's the part where you can actually go in and just go to town and make texture and not worry about, oh, is it crooked or is it straight? Is it texture? Depending on the texture, it may need to be crooked. And trying to decide where I'm going to put the shadow lines in Allison's, what do you call it? Her nightgown, camisole, whatever. The one thing I made a mistake of doing is I used to draw her camisole without a lot. It's supposed to be like a black satin, but I never make it all black. I make it like a charcoaly gray color, and then I ink in like all the dark lines and stuff, so that it reads as like a black shiny satin. But half the struggle is knowing where to put the blacks. And sometimes when I do Allison's nightgown, I do tend to put a little bit too little black on there. And sometimes I wish I was putting more black on it. It's like Batman. I mean, Batman, you use a lot of black on him, but you know it's not solid black. There's still highlights on him. But sometimes I think I get a little bit too light-handed with my blacks because I'm afraid of being too heavy-handed. So I overcompensate and don't make things black enough. And I think I need to be more bolder with my blacks. See, I've been bolder with my blacks in these last few pages, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit more. Oh, shoot, I smeared one. Oh, well, we can fix it. Speaking of blacks that belong where they belong, let me just go ahead and fix it out here. Not what I wanted to do. But you'll never know unless you watch the video. Ta-da! It actually looks better. Sometimes you'll make the mistakes, and sometimes the mistakes are worth it, so yeah. Must have got wet ink in my fingers. I got ink everywhere, and I can't tell where the dry ink stands. I mean, I got them all over my hands. So you can see it. There we go. So I got ink everywhere. It's typical for me painting. When I was a kid, I used to paint everywhere. As an adult, I still have ink. I still have paint everywhere when I paint. I just know where it is and wipe it off faster, and it doesn't make that much of a difference. But yeah, it didn't even have a consequence. It actually helped me out more. My only concern is I don't want to get ink here, anywhere else on the page where it doesn't belong. So I'm making sure my hands are all dry before I go noodling around in other stuff. That worked out okay, but if black got anywhere else, it may not be as workable as that was, because that needed a little bit more black anyway. But if I got it at other places, it might be mischievous. Inking you under a tight curve of her shoulder is kind of tough sometimes. Oops, you guys see my big old fat head again. Sorry, folks. Scoot that in closer. All right. Some more parts of her camisole. A little bit thicker than I wanted to be for the line, but that's okay. It helps give it an edge. Go ahead and move this in. Oops. There we go. All right. You know what? Just for the sake of argument, I might come down here and start inking her face. I want to ink more faces because I like it. I like what I've done so far with a lot of the face so far. So I'm like, let me just go and continue the Love Fest with portraiture and just continue with this mini portrait of Allison down here. She turns around and kind of says, "What? What does that sound? Who are you? What are you?" And then has the white rabbit hiss at her. So I drew it originally without the big fat outline, and I think the outline is going to serve it well. Again, like I said, big, bold outlines really help out with comic art. It really kind of makes things stand out more. All right, let's see if I can kind of find a place to get a nice curve in without overlapping with any of the ink. There we go. Got some curves in her hair here. I like these big fat close-ups. You don't get them very often because that's a lot of panel space used to not do much of storytelling. So you don't get them very often. So I'm reveling in the fact that I get to have a chance to do this in this one panel. I mean, I'm free to do whatever I want with the art, but at the same time, it's like there's certain things that will make sense for the story and certain things that won't. And one thing that won't make sense very much is if I have too many big fat close-ups. There's going to be some times where where the character's going to be talking, and they're not going to be talking about something that's relevant on the. I hate saying camera, but that's the way I think of it, and that's the way a lot of comic book artists think about it, is camera. Because it's almost like shooting a movie, except instead of like getting out a camera, I'm getting out, drawings and storyboarding it that way. So it's what this in essence is a storyboard. A storyboard where you're only portraying the key frames of the you're drawing the key frames of a movie. You're seeing my head. I'm sorry, guys. I looked down like, oh shoot, I'm seeing my head again. Trying to create a nice little feathering effect. Feathering is one of the hardest things to do in comic books, I think. A nice kind of feather little effect there for boldness. I'm almost out of ink too, so I'm going to get some more ink dribbled out here. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better than it is now. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Oh, I knew I was going to do that. Dang it. Oh well. Photoshop it out. No, well. I mean, it does kind of make a nice crease for her mouth, but that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, I mean, I could put the whiteout on it, and I might do that. I don't know. I'd rather not put whiteout in original art. Not all of it if I can help it. I should have been paying more attention. When I was paying attention, I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to smear it. I'm like, no, I won't smear. Yeah, I did. All right, let's see. There we go. I like how this kind of works out sometimes. You really got to pay. I'm learning how to draw pages so that when I ink them, all I have to do is think about copying the lines and not have to worry about sorting out a lot of problems. I've sorted out 90% of the problems of this page in the penciling stages very early on. So all I'd have to do is bolden in the lines and I'd be like, oh, I'm halfway done. And then culling it would be a breeze because I already kind of, like I said, sorted all the problems. And I don't have to worry, oh, the face is crooked here, or the face is crooked there, or whatever. It's already kind of all sorted out. So all I have to worry about is just getting into the business of coloring it when it's finished. Man, I'm being tough on this brush. See if I can get in here and not wreck any of the wet ink I've laid down. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm still working on her eyelashes because her eyelash was kind of small and frail looking. There we go. This, yeah. Let's see if I can get this down. That being too thick on that. There we go. One tiny line up down here where it's going to be like that. There we go. See, it's going to be kind of sideways for you guys, but there it is. Mostly. I mean, I got this side of her hair to do her chin, of course. That almost gets one panel done. While that's kind of drying, I might come up here with some more of the ink that I got left and do some of the work up here on her face. Man, I'm so glad I did this in blue pencil, because now all I have to do is scan it and then go, okay, remove blue pencil. And then I'll be ready to go with the coloring processes. I mean, I got to clean that bit up, stuff like that. I mean, cleaning up an errant line or two is going to be nothing compared to, making the whole thing better. I mean, the information's there. I'll just have to clean up a bit or two. Wow, 3:30. I might go ahead and use up the ink I've got left and then call it a day. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to use what's left of this ink and then call it a day. Because I've done a lot of work on this page already. It's one of the benefits of having solved all the problems in the penciling stages. And just roll out with the inks. I'm getting to be a faster inker too, so that's some of it as well. I'm just able to roll out with the inks, especially with Allison Zombieland. I mean, this is my project, so because I know where I was going with the pencils when I did them in the first place, so it makes it a little bit easier to kind of solve the problems. There's not, like I said, not many problems to solve. Kind of already solved all those problems when I put the pencil to paper. So now all I have to do is commit to the pencils that I've already established, and the whole thing will be ready to go. I've said this before and I'll say it again. My Raphael brush is nice. I love my Raphael brush. It makes a really nice line without me having to half try. So my mistake was I should have ordered 2 when I ordered 1. I guess I wasn't sure if I'd like it. I love it. I love my Raphael brush. Some people nerd out the latest video game and what have you. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous of people that are playing Destiny. I kind of wish I was playing it with them. But then I get a new inky brush and I'm like, oh my god, an inky brush, yay. And then I'm like all excited about it. And just that. Yeah, I'd like to be playing Destiny right now. But I'd much rather be doing something meaningful. Not that hanging with friends isn't meaningful, it is. But I kind of feel like I hung out with some friends here today. I had some people that were watching that are friends of mine. They told me so. And I know they were watching me because they sent me a screenshot, so that was hilarious, by the way. They sent me a screenshot. I'm like, yeah, I know you're watching. Because there's no way they couldn't have been watching because it was from today's stream, so that was pretty funny. And that made me laugh because it brought back some good memories for me. Memories I'd already been thinking about, too, recently. So I thought that was funny that they brought up a memory I'd already been thinking about recently. So that was kind of nice. But brightened my day once again. Now I'm kind of obsessed with little details, and it's like, don't need to obsess too much. There's a little tiny rabbit here. That, as long as I get it kind of roughly right, I think we're okay. And one of my friends has a big plan for Allison Zombieland in general. Oh, you're seeing my chin again. I'm sorry again, folks. For Allison Zombieland in general, which I can't reveal because it's his plan, and I'm kind of humbled by it. So when it comes out, I will kind of announce on the Allison Zombieland page what it is. It's kind of exciting and humbles me a little bit. And it was funny because I just said, this is how I feel about this sort of thing. And he comes up to me and he's like, what do you feel about this sort of thing? I'm like, are you kidding me? I just talked about this with a friend of mine in a public conversation. Are you like spying on me? He goes, no. I said, let me show you the link. And I showed him a link of what I was talking about. He's like, that's exactly, and it's funny that you bring that up because that's exactly what I was asking about. I said, I know. I thought maybe he'd seen the conversation, just wanted to know how I felt. Just wanted to know my discussion about it. And I was like, dude, you do understand I just literally have had 2 conversations about this exact topic. This friend of mine, he's like almost like psychic in the sense that whenever I talk to somebody, like I'm the annoying person that goes to the middle of everything and figures out what's going on. I like asking the hard-hitting questions. I'm not even kidding. Like if I see somebody who's in the middle of like a discussion or something, I'll go in and I'll ask the hard questions. I'll be like, so what do you think about this? And I'm asking the people that are involved on social media, not because I'm a pain in the butt, but because I just like know what. Well, yeah, maybe it's because I'm nosy, but I was asking questions for people that are concerned, and sometimes when people do Q&As, I'll ask questions that I think are. Sometimes I'll ask questions that I'm interested in knowing the answer to, and sometimes I'll ask questions that I know the person wants to talk about. So I'm like, I know you want to talk about this, so how about this? And I'll ask her it outright. I'll just be like, so yeah, about this thing you want to talk about, tell me more about it, just so that they will say. That's a great question. I would love to talk about it. And I'm like, that's why I asked you, because I knew you'd love to talk about it. So sometimes I'll do that. Well, I'll just like ask questions, knowing the answers will be something that would be interesting to the person asking the question. Oh, I've been a bristle hair. Come on, behave in there. But I like doing that. I like hearing about things that interest people and motivate them. One thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is just, as an artist, I've been getting back to my roots as an artist, because comic book art isn't really my thing. It's something I kind of fell into. I'm a fine artist, and I remember thinking, why do I find cosplay so interesting? I think part of it is, among other reasons, is that cosplay is a very interesting shift in artistic form. In other words, most cosplayers see a comic book artist's rendering of a character and say, wow, that's amazing. And then they say, I'm going to recreate that artist's depiction of the character. And in fact, 90% of the ones that do the reproductions like that will always say, I'm cosplaying so-and-so's version of such and such a character. Like I'm doing George Perez's Superman or Supergirl or what have you. Or the one from this run or this video game, like I saw people doing the Injustice version of like Harley Quinn or something, and literally the whole point of it is to reproduce that character in that particular guise. But here's the interesting thing I find about it, and that is, as an artist, I find that fascinating because an artist renders in 2 dimensions and draws everything in 2 dimensions. Unless it's like for a sculptural rendering, and then still most artists are rendering it in 2D for a sculptor to render it in 3D. But what'll happen, what I find interesting about these cosplayers is they take it, and this is what I find fascinating. I'm working with a flat surface that is usually white and infinitely blank. So it could be anything I render it to be. And I've seen a very amazing cosplay recently by Eve Beauregard where she reproduced a Adam Hughes cover. And what I found fascinating about it is this. Adam Hughes had infinite paper in that it was white. He could have made it, in his Catwoman cover, he could have made Catwoman look any way he wanted to. Eve Beauregard's got to work with the face that God gave her. So she's got to use costuming, makeup, and maybe a little Photoshop. Usually most people in cosplay see that Photoshop, unless for a background, is like cheating. So here's somebody that is, I'm going to finish the curtain. I said I was going to finish it with the ink, but I'll finish the curtain. So she's going to have to take the face God gave her, the body God gave her, and with costuming, makeup, and very little else, reproduce that cover. For me, I could reproduce that Adam Hughes cover if I took the time and the effort to do it. But then I've got infinite resources. I've got a blank canvas. In essence, when a cosplayer reproduces a character, they're starting with the canvas God gave them, and through trickery, making it look like whatever it is. And some of these tricks are incredible. There's a friend of mine on Twitter. Her name is Lynn Stanley. She does a lot of like Halloween events. And she's like chameleon. Sometimes I have to look at the picture close. When she showed the picture, I'm like, is that her or someone she saw? And then I look at the face really, really close, and I'm like, that's her. So some of these people, they got some incredible transformations that they do. And the thing that fascinates me the most is it's with what God gave them. It's not like they can change their faces out. With me, I've got infinite blank page. I can do whatever I want with it. But starting with a limited number of possibilities and making something amazing out of it, an amazing replica, is incredible. It's the equivalent of taking a 3D sculpture and then painting the surface to make the sculpture look like something it's not, which I find fascinating. And of course, some of these people, they have, you know, like with the Eve Beauregard, Adam Hughes Catwoman reproduction, that's kind of easier for Eve Beauregard because she does kind of bear resemblance to that kind of Audrey Hepburn look, and so does Adam Hughes' Catwoman. So it is kind of easier for her to reproduce that sort of thing. And a lot of cosplayers will kind of focus on what their strengths are rather than going outside their comfort zone and doing a character that looks nothing like them. And that makes sense. But then again, 9 times out of 10, a personal hero is going to kind of look like you in some cases anyway. And I'm glad for the people that don't just stick with the people that they look like and go, oh, I'm going to cosplay somebody that looks like me. But I'm sure a lot of people are finding a lot more heroes that resemble themselves because they can they've been down that road before. I know a lot of people don't look up to people that look exactly like them, but there's a lot of people that do because they're like, I know what that's like because I've been down there before. But I just find it fascinating when you see one of those amazing reproductions and you're like, wow, you took what God gave you and made something that was two-dimensional come to life, and that's just fascinating to me. As a fine artist that's interested sometimes in conceptual art, it's kind of a concept art, you know, when a cosplayer does a photo shoot to reproduce a photograph. That, to me, is fascinating. It borders on performance art, it really does. I know it's not, it's just, hey, I'm a fan, I'm just reproducing something, but as an artist, as a fine artist, I'm coming at it going, okay, you're basically doing a performance art. You're stepping into a character. As a performance artist do, in a sense. I mean, actors do it, but you know, it's a step between acting and. But it's not just, oh, I'm going to become the character and find someone else to make the costume. These people are making the costumes, they're doing the makeup, they're doing the whole thing, or they're getting a friend to do it for them. And it's like if Patrick Stewart just got in a wheelchair and just walked around, wheeled around a convention as Professor X. It's more than just the acting. It's the whole persona, the whole look, everything. So it's kind of more of a performance art than just a acting performance. But anyway, that's my little rant about art and how you can see fine art through like cosplaying in a convention. Because there are some people that are like step right into the role. And it's like, don't even bother addressing them as their name, because they're just going to look at you like, I'm such and such a character. Or even if you address them by name, they'll be like, okay, yeah, that's me. But they'll be totally in character. And you're like, wow, they're in character. I'm meeting the person, but it feels like you're meeting the character too. And that's performance art right there. That really, truly is. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I might do another video tonight, I don't know, or next week, I don't know, because I didn't even get to the rabbit panel I wanted to do. So kind of got Allison done in almost every incarnation. And everything else in these upper panels is pretty much ruler work. And I got the panel to do down here. And I just want to call it a break for right now. But let me see if I can back up a little bit, give you an idea. Whoops. There we go. No more messy kitchen. I'm going to hide it with the panel, with the page. But yeah, so there's that. And I got to do the rabbit and then all the floor tiles. That's going to be a pain. The floor tiles will be a pain. But when it's all said and done, it's going to look amazing. And then I can't wait to color it. And I'll have page 5 done. And I'm working on page 6. I'm drawing it right now. It's going to be a little while because I want to get Trixie Dynamite work done. And I got 3 more pages to do for an 8-page story. And they're going extra slow because work was hectic. And then a little personal thing that happened. I'm kind of glad it's over with. I'm in a better place now in my thinking as far as my art goes. Instead of thinking about numbers, I'm thinking more about just making people happy. And I think that's what I should be doing, is making more people happy, because that makes me happy. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys tuning in this time. I know I had 2 of my friends, actually a friend and family member, tune in at the very minimum. And I know a bunch of people probably see this after the fact that watch pieces of it. And for that, I'm also grateful. Not that, again, I don't do these videos for viewing. I kind of lost sight of that. I kind of thought that maybe I was doing it for viewers and fans, and I'm not. I'm really doing it for myself, to keep me honest, to keep me working. And if anybody joins in, thank you. Thank you. That always makes me happy. And there's been a lot of people that have told me, wow, I like watching your videos. I find them very entertaining. Or I don't want to say entertaining, but educational. And that's kind of humbling too, because I like to think I know what I'm talking about, and I know I am talking about, so I know some of what I'm talking about. But there's a difference between thinking you know and hearing it from other people saying, I like what you do. And that kind of makes me still humbled and very, very grateful for given the chance to do this sort of thing. But again, thanks for tuning in. I'll be putting up page 5 as soon as it's done being inked and colored and everything. I'm not any good at lettering. I really am not. I kind of half made it up for the page 4. It's up there. It's at Alice in Zombieland Comic. It's facebook.com/Alice in Zombieland Comic. There is an Alice in Zombieland novel and film that I wasn't even aware of when I came up with the idea of the name of the book. I've considered calling Allison Blizzard in Zombieland, or Allison Blizzard's Adventures, or Allison Blizzard, just to avoid any kind of confusion, because the Alice in Zombieland story, from what I went with Wikipedia, it's basically humans. It's like The Walking Dead, except the people in it resemble characters in Wonderland. In other words, there's a guy that's like kind of white and pasty, and they call him the White Rabbit, that sort of thing. So it's not like they're Wonderland characters that are zombies. Not that mine's going to be zombies per se. It's going to be more like mindless kind of minions. Not actual brain-eating zombies, but just these mindless, like, automatons. Like pod people, more like pod people zombies more than Walking Dead zombies. So I didn't know that when I named the book. So hopefully that's not going to cause any problems with anybody, confusion. They're like, wait, this isn't the book I read. It's not the book you read. It's going to be a totally different comic of its own. And I also had a lot of people saying, oh, but it's like this storyline or that storyline. I've read probably every single Dark Alice in Wonderland storyline just to make sure it's nothing like mine. And at first I was like, oh man, that's exactly like my story. And then I read the details. No, it's not. The only things it resembles is the characters from Wonderland that both stories are based off of. So the only things I've seen between my storyline and other storylines is the connection to the original story characters, which is going to be there because we're both basing our stories on Alice in Wonderland. So I mean, I've checked out American McGee's Alice. I've checked out the Wonderland, the Looking Glass Wars. I've checked out What is it? Down the Rabbit Hole from Zenoscope. A couple other ones where it's like, most of them take Alice Little, Liddell, which has been told to pronounce Little, not Liddell. Most of them take Alice Little and grow her up, and Allison Blizzard is somebody totally different who just happened to read the book. So a lot of them are grown-up Alice or a variation of grown-up Alice, and Allison is not grown-up Alice. So that's why I named her Allison, to indicate that she's not Alice. That's why she's got the tattoo, to show she liked Alice in Wonderland, the book, so it distances her from the book character and from any other reproduction that's been done. Because the Looking Glass Wars is kind of similar to what I had in mind, without a lot of the war aspects. It's just gonna be some fighting, but the concept of a darker version of Alice Wonderland, I know it's been done before. I wasn't sure how much it had been done before, but most of the time it seems like it's the grown-up Alice from the book, and I didn't want to go down that road because there's two things with that. One, I didn't want to do a Victorian story. Two, I didn't want to say that Alice in Wonderland happened yesterday. I wanted a modern-day Alice, but not, and that's why I was still one of the Victorian elements, but kind of with a modern filter and a little bit darker side to it. So that's why I made her a different character, but still paying homage to the original elements of the story. And I hope it comes out well. I mean, I've got the entire thing written up here. I got one issue written on paper, and I told my wife the entire storyline, and she seemed to like it. My sister's kind of read the script, and she liked it. And there's a couple of people that I know that I trust that have a good grasp of where I want to go with this. And actually some people that have told me, hey, this is where you should go with this. And I think to myself, that's exactly what I wanted to do with it, that have that kind of a grasp of the characters. And they all seem to, everything I'm getting back from them is the reaction I want. So I know I'm going the right way so far. So let's see how it works out. But anyway, again, thanks for sticking with me this last week. I've been kind of like in and out of depression for thinking about the wrong things. And I appreciate it for helping me think about the right things, making art and being happy. Thank you again so much for tuning in. And I hope to do this next week. If I'm off and free and happy and ready to go, I will do another video probably next Friday. I don't know if it'll be page 6. It might be Alice. It might be another Alice page. It might be Trixie Dynamite. If I don't get the 3 pages done in a week's time, I probably won't. But if it's not, I will do another broadcast, something, even if it's a sketch. Oh yeah, I've got a sketch I'm working on my cosplaying Twitter pen pal / friend Lynn Stanley. I've got working on. I might do that. I might do another Copic demo. I don't know. I've already done a video of her, a piece of hers as a Copic demo. Sometimes when I do the same person twice, I feel like I'm shooting fish in a barrel. Because Lindsay's been very generous in my retweeting my art, which is very much appreciated. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next Friday sometime around the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time or approximately. Thank you, and have a great day.